So the NFL game of the week, again, another weekly NFL game. Of course, this is going to be one of the best games, I believe, of the entire year. As we have the Ravens versus the Chargers. This should be an incredible game. I'm really excited to watch this game. But of course, before I get into this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Help me out a little bit. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, of course, we're going to start off with the Baltimore Ravens, a team that has been hot ever since week one. They've won 4 straight games. The Baltimore Ravens have the 9th ranked offense in the league, and they are 4th in rushing yards per game with 149 yards per game. They actually had a streak that recently ended. They had 43, 44 straight games with 100 plus rushing yards as a team. The Baltimore Ravens are a really, really great offensive team. Of course, that's nothing unusual considering that their quarterback is one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best dual threats we've ever seen. And going to my next topic, Lamar Jackson is having another MVP level season, whether you guys want to believe it or not. Now, I know Lamar Jackson has some haters. I know he has some guys that tried to say he is a running back more than a quarterback. However, the stats will tell you different, and the facts will tell you even more different. Now, Lamar Jackson this season has 1,519 passing yards, which ranks 5th in the NFL, 8 passing touchdowns, and 341 rushing yards, which ranks him 8th in the NFL. That is absolutely incredible. That is what I call the ultimate dual threat quarterback. Lamar Jackson is not only 5th in passing yardage, he is also 8th in rushing. Lamar Jackson is the ultimate quarterback. He is absolutely incredible, and the league just cannot seem to figure him out. Is he going to run for 100 yards on us? Is he going to pass for 400 on us like he did last week against the Colts? Man, Lamar Jackson is an incredible quarterback. He's an incredible athlete, and a little fun fact for the day, he actually had his jersey recently retire at the University of Louisville, so congratulations, Lamar Jackson. Now, going to the wide receiver situation, as you guys may have known, I've said Lamar Jackson needs his number 1 targets to step up for years. I've said for years that if Lamar Jackson gets solid number 1 targets, he will be an elite, even more elite quarterback. And man, did he get that last week? Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown were both amazing last week. They both went for 100 plus yards and 2 plus touchdowns. And another fun fact, they are the first ever college teammates to go for 100 plus yards and 2 plus touchdowns in the same game. And they both have over 400 yards for the season. Man, both of these guys have stepped up in tremendous ways. And I'm really, really proud of this whole Ravens organization. Of course, dealing with injuries on the defensive side, we knew their offense would have to step up this year, and man, they've really, really done that. They've done that really, really well. Of course, with their freakishly athletic quarterback that is, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I don't really care what the haters say about Lamar Jackson. He's one of the best QBs in the league, whether you would like it or not. And of course, I knew that Lamar Jackson would need his wide receivers to step up. Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown. While Hollywood Brown has had some drop problems, I'm really, really, really glad that he made up for that, and that Colts comeback, man, it looked really, really good. Lamar Jackson passed for over 400 yards last week. If they can keep this up, if the number 1 receivers can keep this up, you better look out for this offense going into the next couple of weeks. Now, of course, going down to the defense, the Baltimore Ravens are the 5th best scoring defense in the NFL. Now, not as good as it usually is, of course, with injuries, the main injury being the injury to Marcus Peters, a guy who is one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. He actually tore his ACL, I believe, in the offseason. Man, the Ravens, their defense is still pretty good, though. It's still a respectable defense. Of course, Patrick Queen is having a really, really good season, another Pro Bowl level season, actually, just starting where he left off from that rookie season. Now, of course, going down the list, surprisingly, the Baltimore Ravens have a -1 turnover differential, not something you would expect from a 4-1 football team. Nonetheless, they are one of the better teams in the league. Their defense has not been really, really great at forcing turnovers, not as great as they usually are. However, they still get the job done. The Ravens are still 4-1, so as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to worry about as far as the Baltimore Ravens are concerned, excuse me. Now, of course, going down to the next team, the Chargers, a team that I think is one of the most exciting teams to watch in the NFL. They've won 3 straight games. The Chargers are the 7th ranked offense in the NFL, and they are 3rd in passing yards per game, and they also average 108 rushing yards a game. So you see this Chargers team, and they're really, really good at gaining yardage in all fashions of football. Now, Justin Herbert is starting off right where he left off last season. He's a second-year quarterback, but boy, let me tell you, he looks looks like he's in his 25th year. He looks absolutely incredible. 1,576 passing yards for 4th in the NFL, 13 passing touchdowns, which is 3rd in the NFL. And mind you, this guy's only in his second season as an NFL quarterback. Justin Herbert is playing like a well-oiled veteran right now, and I'm really, really proud of Justin Herbert. Of course, I predicted earlier last year that he would be the best quarterback over Joe Burrow, and while Joe Burrow has had some injury problems, Justin Herbert has played out of his mind, not only last season, but also this season. Now, going down the list, Austin Eckler and Mike Williams are both quietly having the biggest seasons of their careers. Going to Austin Eckler, he is 10th or top 10 in both rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. 349 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. 2 categories in the top 10. Austin Eckler is quietly having a great year. Now, Mike Williams, on the other hand, is having the year of his life in the NFL. Mike Williams is 5th in receiving yards with 471 and 1st in receiving touchdowns with 6. Mike Williams is absolutely incredible. We knew he was super talented when he came on. I believe he came out of Clemson. Correct me if I'm wrong. We knew he was super talented ever since he came out of college. And man, he's just showing us this year. He's showing us that huge leap that we all expected from him maybe a couple of years ago, but it's better late than never, right? Mike Williams is an incredible wide receiver, and I expect him to have an incredible season. Not only to mention that the Chargers have nearly 4 wide receivers with 200 plus yards, or 4 receivers with 200 plus receiving yards, including their Pro Bowl or perennial Pro Bowl wide receiver in Keenan Allen. You can't forget about him. He will always be the number 1 wide receiver there. Keenan Allen is an incredible talent, and he just continues to not only make the players around him better, but he continues to get better seemingly with age. Now, going down to the defense, the Chargers are surprisingly ranked higher than the Ravens. They are the 13th ranked defense in the NFL, as Derwin James is having a superior season. He's nearly top 10 in solo tackles and is on pace for 134 total tackles this season. Of course, the Chargers have also won 3 straight games. The Chargers look absolutely incredible. The Los Angeles Chargers, man, I'm really impressed with how they started off the season. Now, a lot of people predicted this team to be really, really good. Their O-line has been better than expected, though, and when you get a good O-line, you get a really good team. And the Chargers being 4-1, I won't say that's a surprise. I'll just say it's an unexpected great thing. Let's just, for lack of a better term, that's what I'm going to call it. An unexpected great thing, unexpected greatness from the Chargers, and I'm really, really excited for their team this year. I think they can go really far with a talented quarterback, a whole bunch of talent around that quarterback, a good offensive line, and a very respectable defense. Now, getting to my keys of the game. First, the Chargers. We're going to start off with them. They need to get Justin Herbert going early. The Baltimore Ravens are a surprising 30th in passing yards allowed per game. Justin Herbert's going to have to get going. He's going to have to pass the ball a lot this game. Of course, if you can get the ball downfield with Justin Herbert, man, it's going to force the Ravens to really, really have to revamp their defense and sort of have to make a lot of adjustments on the line. If you can catch the Ravens off guard, then I believe the Chargers will have a pretty easy time passing the ball, considering the Ravens are, like I said earlier, 30th in passing yards allowed per game. Now, for the second point for the Chargers, they have to get the rushing game going. As I said previously in this video, Austin Eckler is top 10 in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. You're going to have to run the ball against the Baltimore Ravens. It's just going to have to happen. While the Ravens are pretty bad in passing yards, they're actually decent in rushing yards, and I believe if you can run the ball and force the Ravens to have to guess on what you're trying to do on defense, especially with the injuries they have, I think that can make it all the much easier for an offense to dominate that game. Now, of course, another key for the Chargers, they have to get the ball to their playmakers. The Ravens have been really sloppy on defense. Feed Keenan Allen, feed Austin Eckler, feed Mike Williams. All those guys are going to have really, really big games today if they not only want to outscore a very elite Ravens offense, but also play well against a very respectable Ravens defense. Now, of course, for the Baltimore Ravens and their points and their keys to winning the game, the wide receivers are going to have to get open. Lamar Jackson is top 5 in passing yards and top 8 in rushing. The Ravens have two big comebacks this season, one against the Chiefs and one against the Colts most recently, I believe on Monday Night Football. Lamar needs to get going, and in order for Lamar to get going, his wide receivers are going to have another really, really big game. The Chargers are also 13th in scoring defense. You're going to have to limit those turnovers as well. Now, of course, the other thing is getting the running game going. The Ravens are a top 10 rushing team in the NFL. Rushing is the Ravens' identity. They're going to have to rush the ball if they want to win this game. Lamar Jackson, as I said previously in this video, is ranked 8th in rushing yards. And another record that I said previously in this video that was actually recently cut short because of the Colts win. the 100 yards for 40-something straight games for the Ravens. Running is their identity. They're going to have to run the ball. And also, the Chargers are ranked dead last in rushing yards allowed per game. You're going to have to get the Ravens the ball. Now, of course, you also, for the third point, have to put pressure on Justin Herbert. Now, while Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, he's still only a second-year QB. He's still learning. If you place pressure on Justin Herbert, he is bound to make a mistake or two. He's bound to throw an interception or fumble the ball. You're going to have to force Justin Herbert to make mistakes. Now, going down to my score prediction, I have the Chargers winning this game 24-21. I think this game will be really, really close, and I think the defenses will play a bigger role than many people may think in this game. However, I have the Chargers winning on a last-second field goal. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the season. I believe Lamar Jackson is in for another pretty good performance. However, I just think he gets outperformed by Chargers Justin Herbert right here, as the Chargers are, at this point, probably the hottest team in the NFL. However, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Of course, I have TikTok, Spotify, Instagrams. All those links and more will be in the description. As you guys can see, I tried to dress for the occasion. The OG Julio Jones Atlanta Falcons jersey. In case you guys don't know, I'm a huge Atlanta Falcons fan. But of course, most and utmost importantly, I need you on the other side of the screen to stay loved and stay blessed. And without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.